thing just wow. Pressing it when you're not going live goes so much faster. That's fucking crazy. Guys, we have the collar pimper himself, Freddie Tavarish.
Collar pimper? Is that
yeah?
Is that
yeah?
okay.
Because
all right.
Pimp My Ride joke. Yes.
Yes.
Driving the nicest Dodge Caravan that's ever been created.
That thing is sick.
Well, I appreciate it. It's a cool little nostalgia piece, but it's not very practical as a van. So I still have it, and it's about to go to the Peterson Automotive Museum. But I think I love the thing. It's just I can't drive it anywhere. It's a pink and purple minivan, with a jewelry making station and a disco floor. So
looking back at those episodes and seeing all the shit that they build into people's cars, man, it's so funny. Like I haven't watched Pimp My Ride in years now, but
my favorite one was they had a tow hitch. I believe it was a Chevy Cavalier, the weird body style after the 90s Cavalier.
Yeah.
It was like a 2001, 2002 Cavalier. And it had a trailer hitch in the back of it. And they're like, what the hell could we use this trailer hitch for? They made a half pipe that this guy could skate on, go into the trailer hitch of the Chevy Cavalier.
Oh my God, man.
Okay. So there's a lot of stuff that didn't actually happen. So they probably made that for the show. And they're probably like, hey, there's no way.
Yeah, we're not giving you the trailer.
Like MTV's lawyers aren't going to allow us to give you a half pipe that you can tow from your car. Like this is just a liability.
It wasn't like an even towing thing. They just used the trailer hitch as a place to hold the half pipe. It just came down to the ground, and so that way it didn't move. Yeah, it was fucking retarded.
Yeah, that seems a little off. But I mean,
these
are
TV
people
bullshit.
that push fish tanks and stuff in cars, so why not?
Well, back in the day of watching Underground 2 and all that shit, I'm sure that all that stuff is just second nature to a TV show like that. Yeah, we're just gonna pimp my ride.
Well, I mean, it was a big hit, and people like it definitely hit on something that was in the era, like people wanted to modify their cars and they wanted to see what the ultimate version of that would be, and the ultimate version is, to most people, something completely impractical. And I mean, like to car guys, it's completely impractical too, but it's usually going towards like, all right, I want to make a show car. I want to make a fast car. It's never, hey, I want to make a car that is like also a unicorn. Like, like it's never that. It's never just, hey, I really like watching movies. So now, or like I really like making movies. So now every panel of a car is going to be a camera. Like that doesn't make any sense.
No, it's a lot like the Japanese car culture with what the fuck do they call those cars? I can't.
Bosuzoku, probably.
I was gonna say that. I was like, there's no way in hell that they named a gun in Call of Duty after the way they design cars in Japan. There's just and there was. But those fucking designs are the most retarded fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Why the fuck do I have a spoiler in the front of my car that goes
14 or 15 inch super wide wheels stretched to hell, the huge splitters? Oh, it's such wild.
Well, I think it's like an art installation, you know, like if you look at something that has no function, but it's all form, I think that's the ultimate version of that. And it's rolling art. Obviously they drive like garbage and, you're not going to be able to go over any speed bumps, or they're not made for practicality, but they look really cool. I mean, we're talking about them.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's the exhaust. The exhausts are the craziest part of most of those cars. Yeah. Some of them stand 6-7 feet tall. I love it.
The funniest one, and I think everybody has fucking seen it. I know it's on Google. It's one of the top searches. It's an exhaust that comes out, goes above the top of this Hachiroku, and it's a fucking star with no outpipe. And everybody's fucking seen it.
You can buy those right on eBay. The heart-shaped ones and the star ones. They've been on eBay for like decades now.
And they look like shit. They're welded by like an inch. You can see the welds all the way around.
They're like barely $100 for like 10 feet of piping, man. It's fucked.
No outlet on the entire pipe. Just put it above your nice little fucking Toyota Corolla. You'll be fine.
Well, I mean, it's also something that is born out of people want to modify their cars in cheap ways, like in a ways that people joke around about the coffee can muffler. But, if a coffee can muffler made your car sound louder, people would do it, So how do I make my car stand out? And all I got is this $100 worth of, piping from Home Depot. I'm going to make it into a star. You know, I'm going to put, this is going to get me noticed at the next car meet. You know, I don't know if it's going to get you.
I remember the
women or anything, but
definitely turn some heads.
The first thing that I saw somebody customize a car with, my mom had a 1992 or 3 Dodge Spirit RT that a Ford truck backed into the driver's side doors, both of them, and it was the bumper inlay of the entire fucking going all the way down the doors. Yeah. And by this time, it was like 5 or 6 years that the clear had come off the entire fucking hood. She's like, you know what? I'm going to spray paint this. Takes a can of fucking spray paint that she got from Lowe's and spray painted a heart and was like, you know, that's good enough. And then left it. And just had her day.
Well, there you go. There you go. Now, I mean, now her car, you can say that is a one of one.
One of one. I was waiting for it. It's unique.
Yeah.
It's unique.
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
People pay a lot of money for that kind of stuff, you know?
No, that car ended up having more cocaine inside that car than the paint on the hood was worth.
Really?
Yeah. So when we moved into the city, our neighbors were like these little fucking Italian people that came from New York City. I live in upstate New York, Tavarish. I don't remember if we talked about that before.
Cool.
But so these little dipshits came up from like Staten Island and moved up here, and we're like, they were close enough to the part where we had like holidays and stuff together. We would have the lasagna for Christmas, the lasagna for Thanksgiving and Easter. And he's like, you know, I really need a car, but my Dodge truck is impounded right now. I'm not able to get it back. I just got out of jail probably like 6-7 months ago. Is there any way I can use your car for a little bit? My mom's like,
slope.
Yeah, I guess you could use our car. Later, I found out that it was still in my grandparents' name. It was still in my grandparents' insurance and everything else, and they were allowing him to drive it. About 2-3 months go by, we get a call from the police. Hey, this car was found. This is the number that was connected to the car. Is this your vehicle? Whose is it? What's going on with it? And why was it found with this person who was just arrested? They're like, wait, hold up. Who's calling? Well, this is the police calling. We have your car impounded at this specific lot. You can come and get it. You can come and pick it up. But even if you sat here and vacuumed out all the cocaine and crack that was in the back seat, dogs will ping on it every single time for the rest of the time that you drive the car. Just crush it. Just crush it.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, but you could still. I don't get that. Like, okay, they're telling you just crush it because
that's so wild.
Yeah, the state police
get the seats from another Spirit. Get a new carpet.
We're telling us directly, just crush it. There's no way to clean the car well enough to the point where dogs will not.
First of all, yes, there is. Absolutely, there is.
Logically, as an adult, I'm like, what the fuck? That makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
But as
also,
kid,
if you had some like note from the cops saying, hey, this car was used in, you know, whatever, this was found on this so and so date, and if there's any like trace elements, then obviously it's not, you know, like that doesn't make any sense.
What kind of a police department would believe that, though? It's like, sure, you have a note saying that the cops from this place said there's a bunch of cocaine in your
police
car,
department, you know, if it's a local police department and they're the ones that are, you know, pulling you over. Also, they're not going to get a dog, you know, like for what, a routine traffic stop?
Yeah, exactly. That's not going to be normal. Like, there's no fucking way. So
they're already looking for the drugs in your car if they bring a dog out.
The shit's retarded to the point where they're like, yeah, so do not come and get anything out of the vehicle. I was like, wait, I'm kind of confused. Like, as an adult, I'm kind of confused. Like, I don't understand. I had a rock collection in the back trunk because I just got done with the science fair or whatever. And I was like, you know, I got coral from grandma. It's sitting in the trunk. Can I get it? That's kind of cool as fuck. Like, you want the coral that they got from Australia.
Right.
No, you can't go get it. It was on velvet. It's going to have cocaine with it. I was like, fuck. Like, I just lost a full rock collection that I spent 2 months trying to put together.
I know, and now that rock collection is worth so much more.
there's a bunch of other rocks.
There's extra rocks and
smokable
crystals on it.
Well, yeah, they like just sprinkled money all over it. You know, it's awesome. So it's insane how poorly people get treated when their stuff is stolen, and like once my first car, my 1998 Nissan Maxima, I had just done a manual conversion, and then I did an engine swap on it. First night, I go to Applebee's, get half off appetizers with my friends. You go after 10 p.m. because then you get half off appetizers and you get like a full meal for like $7, right? So I took me and 2 other friends, and then my car, first drive out, gets stolen. And I'm like, I am so pissed. And I end up finding it. Well, I don't end up finding it. The cops call me and they go, "Hey, your car's been found. It's some joyride, whatever." They ended up taking all the interior stuff. So it might have been, I think it was somebody that had a Nissan Maxima, so they wanted like leather interior and whatever. Like, I mean, the street value of that stuff was maybe $650,
right?
Yeah, like I'm talking, this is primo.
Like they had a seat that they covered with a fucking towel, and they're like, you know what, that seat's nicer, I'm taking that one.
Yeah, and I mean, I had a PS2 in the glove box, a PS2 with Need for Speed Underground 2, my friend. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's fire.
Yeah, so they took that.
Bastards.
I thought you were going to say, yeah, they left that. They took the rest of the interior.
No,
left the PlayStation.
They took everything. I had like a big subwoofer box in the back because, of course, I did. And but the engine and all that stuff they left. The reason why they left the car is because it was my first. It was like a first shakedown run, and the shifter bushing ended up breaking, so they couldn't shift the car into any gear. So anyway, long story short, I got the call from Newark PD saying, "Well, your car's been found, but it's in an impound lot, and the it's also stripped, and I don't know if you want to get it, but you got to get all these like I go there and it's like you got to pay all these impound fees, and it's not." Like they technically found it last night, so you have one day then and one day today, and it ends up costing me like $400 or something. And it's like, hey, so I didn't leave this thing on the side of the road. Like it got stolen. So like I didn't. It's not my fault that it's here,
right?
Yeah.
I don't know why those charges don't end up falling on the person who stole your fucking car in the first place. Obviously, they didn't find them in your case, but
yeah, they didn't find. But like, I'm
rough.
I'm like, how does this make any sense? And then I have to go pay for a tow truck, which in New Jersey is insane. Like if it goes 3 miles, it's $500.
Holy shit!
Like,
really?
No. It's not that much, but it's a lot. I think it was probably like maybe $150 or $200 to drive.
It's like $80 for them to turn the key and start the vehicle.
Yeah. It's
as long as they bill you, you get the start fee, and then it's a set amount per mile.
That's
or whatever.
so slimy. Oh,
yeah.
No, it's stupid. Like for us to show up, we have to have we have to bill $100, and then if we gotta do extra stuff, that's more money. It's like I get it, you're making money. It's okay, it's a business, but I feel like if I just got my car stolen, this isn't really maybe a discount, like just something to make it feel like, hey, I'm not the one in the wrong. And then they treat you like you just left the car there or like you're negligent or something. I'm like, I just went to a restaurant and I got my car stolen. I wasn't.
I was sitting down and having half price appetizers because I'm a frugal man.
Well,
Why are you being a dick?
I had zero. I didn't have any money. I had to borrow money from my mom. To go and get my car out. And then they dropped my car off at home. And this thing was, the lights were missing, the interior was gone.
They stripped the shit out of it.
Oh yeah. And like the engine was still there, which I worked really hard for.
Well, that was a VQ 35 or 25?
VQ 35, yeah.
But just a 5-speed back then, right?
Yeah, 5-speed, yeah. That's all you needed, man. It's all 5 gears is 5 forward gears and one reverse.
I had an 05 Maxima for a brief period, and I turned it was a shit heap. It was a mild out shit heap when I got it, and I turned third gear into glass, driving it, like babying it around. It was those 6-speed VQ cars. The front wheel drive ones seem to be terrible because I know a lot of people with Ultima Coupes and Maximas that have fucking blown up the transmissions.
So did you have the manual?
Yeah.
So that was really rare. So you had a manual. So it
was a Canadian market one with the regular sunroof, not the weird toaster top thing.
Okay. So
and
it
just
wasn't like
straight
the panoramic one that went, okay.
Because there were, I think for those mid 2000s ones, there was 2 main models, one that had 5 seats and a regular sunroof, and then one that had 4 seats, like 2 buckets in the back.
Yeah.
And
the executive package. Yeah.
And then that long sunroof that didn't open or anything. And that one was cool as hell. I've never seen many of those, but yeah, manual, that's like one of the only ones I've ever seen.
Yeah, and you said you killed the third gear in that. And usually those 6-speeds are pretty okay, but like I never knew anything about the 6-speeds having major troubles. But
it was mild out to begin with anyway. It was like well over 200,000 miles
okay,
at that point.
yeah.
I've got a
I'll
cousin
probably
who's
ride that.
built a lot of first and second gen Sentras and like VQ swapped them, done everything imaginable to them, and he's gone through a lot of 6-speeds. He prefers the 5s for drag racing them and everything.
Yeah, it's interesting getting into that world where you have, because you turn into a god amongst ants, because like you're putting all this time and effort into a platform that really doesn't have any support.
Oh, so little aftermarket support. I couldn't imagine.
So one of the things I was thinking about for a while is like, what if I just bought my old car, or like I can't buy my old car. I think it's been junked, but like a facsimile of my first car and then try to make the fastest Maxima in the world, which is right now, I think the fastest quarter mile time for a Maxima is like 10.9, like 10.9 seconds, which is which is fast, but it was done, I think 12 years ago. Like it has never been.
Wait, that's stood that long. That's surprising with the amount of fucking shit that's out there for VQs. That's insane.
That's 0 to 60. Fastest 0 to 60 is 2000 Nissan Maxima SE at 6.7 seconds.
Well, that's stock. That's bonus.
Yeah.
That's
I think fast Maximas. I always think back to that Mexican guy gapping the
11.9
Lamborghini or
113.
What is that video? That's a Veyron, isn't it?
No, that's a Porsche Turbo. That's a Porsche Turbo.
What am I thinking of? I thought it's the one from the perspective of the passenger seat, right? Staring at him banging gears.
Yeah, and then he's
pod.
Yeah.
That one's so good.
Yeah, it's fun, but I think he ran like 11 or something. But there's it's a Canadian dude called Jim E or Jime. So he is an old dude, like an old bracket racer. And he got this Maxima 95 GXE, like just the stripper model, had no weight to it. And then he did a VQ35 swap, which gave him a little bit more horsepower. And then he put nitrous on it. And then he had a built automatic transmission. So he had a 4-speed automatic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then he ran a 10.9. So, I mean, this is not like rocket science stuff. Like,
no.
Yeah, he didn't put like turbos.
You could easily make something that would fucking walk that. But
yeah,
so
that'd be a cool video series
with 1992 owner dude named Aaron Kimball.
Yeah, Aaron 92 SE.
Yep.
Yeah, so my Maxima forums were my life. I hope I am geeking out right now. Maybe we should change the topic because I can go down this rabbit hole for hours.
Yeah, we could keep going.
Well,
we could keep going.
To end this, and it'll kind of flip it into something else. So my first fucking test drive, because I used to work at a car dealership that was like wholesaling cars and stuff like that at like 14. He's like, you've never been on a test drive because your family's fucking broke. Let's go test drive a new car. So we went and actually test drove a Nissan Maxima. It was in the bright electric fucking blue. It was like the coupe, and it was the fastest I ever went in a car. We were going like 125.
Yeah.
They handed us the keys and said, "Okay, go ahead."
Test drive.
Yeah.
Maximum, my fuck.
Yeah. The test drive, we went down this fucking hill and we went down 209 in Kingston, New York, from the actual part of the town to the bridge. And it was probably a mile and a half. We were going 119 when we drifted around the exit ramp and then slid. Yeah, that was a fun fucking test drive.
It's great. I just put the
just
video in the chat.
It looks like such a grandpa sleeper though. Holy shit.
Don't put any sound on it, obviously. But
maroon, that's sick.
Yeah, it is a grandpa sleeper, and he had like RX-7 like spare tires on it or something. He had the smallest. Yeah, it was the smallest set of slicks in the front, just to save weight. So I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that you could do to beat this time, but nobody, like literally nobody has.
Who gives a fuck? Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody cares.
So that's 1099 quarter mile. Is that what it was?
1085 at 125.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. VQ35 engine, stock internals. He has a 350Z intake plenum. He has some M&H slicks. And I mean, this is also, it was January 3rd, 2009. So,
yeah.
Jesus.
Still the world's fastest then. So he had held the record for a while. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's shot on 480p on YouTube. You know how long that
480p
shit's
back then. I mean, that cost money. That was you were balling out of control.
Yeah. Shit's fucking insane. So I thought that this would be fun to fucking do. I saw this link and I was like, me and Tavarish were talking about coming on. So I'm not going to share this link with it though, because we both love cars. And we've been doing this shit AI art in our Discord, where you go through and you tell this bot to essentially create whatever the hell you type into it.
Oh yeah,
scary.
Yeah, can be really fucked up shit. Can be cool shit. It kind of depends on how fucked up the individual is.
Right. So Dolly.
Yeah.
We use Midjourney a lot on Discord too. If you've ever heard of that one,
no,
these
I've never
guys.
heard of that.
Okay, so these guys started it in a Discord server, so you had to join their server and then give it prompts, and then everyone had like 25 uses a month or something. But then after like a month or two, they made the bot available to anyone with a smaller Discord server to add it to theirs.
Oh, cool.
So now like you don't have to go into their actual server; you can just add it to whatever ones. It's kind of neat.
Cool.
Yeah. So Motor Trend did a whole bunch of mashups of different brands and stuff like that. And I thought it'd be fun. If you haven't seen it, I don't know if you saw it or not.
I saw a little bit of it, yeah.
To see if you guys can guess what they are or like just bullshit about how cool it fucking is. Like I just thought it was something stupid, but it could turn into something. Who the fuck knows?
Sure.
I just thought it was cool as fuck because as it fucking zooms up.
Oh my god.
These look really fucking clean. I don't know if they actually cleaned these up and made them a little bit better than what they were. They might have, but
they must have.
Yeah.
That shit looks sick.
So that's Ford, Ford F-150 with Toyota.
Here's a different picture of it.
Oof. That's tough. Is that Subaru? I think it's Subaru.
Nope, Toyota Camry and a Ford F-150.
Toyota Camry. I was gonna say Tundra, but
wow. Okay,
that's where the nose comes from.
I like. Yeah, the nose looks good. I just thought.
Funky.
I was just thinking of Subaru's.
But this
new
picture
STI
right here
looks like garbage.
When you look at like the Mazda trucks and stuff from the 90s, that looks a lot like if Mazda made a truck for Ford and just ripped it off like they used to.
Oh yeah, so if it the Mazda B2300.
Yeah, whatever the fucking number. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of these reminded me of. This one, I got.
Oh my god, that's an dude. That looks like the new Aztec. That could be the new Aztec.
The new Aztec.
I bet you put that into production and people buy it.
This one to me looks even better.
Outback Durango thing. Oh my god, what is this?
Okay, so it's obviously a Ram with
it's a Ram and Outback.
Outback, yeah, there you go.
But honestly,
horrendous.
If they did this, I would be so happy.
Cursed. What the fuck?
It's so fucked up, but I like it.
It looks like a little pig, doesn't it? Like it just
a little bit. I like the nose. If you stopped putting all of the non-color match fucking bumpers and shit on it, it would stop looking as retarded.
You know what? If you had bigger wheels, because I think the proportions fall apart with the wheels. So if it was honestly, if it was a Brodozer, it would look pretty epic.
Yeah, it would look better like a foot higher in the air.
Yeah, not have like those mail carrier tires.
But like the even the chrome fucking nose on this shit looks fucking sick. But you just lose some of it with the different fucking small ass wheels. It's like they're trying to go with the original fucking Impreza wheels.
I like how it got super confused with the grill. It was like, we're just gonna put something here, whatever.
Yeah,
put a bar off to one side.
It's like they tried to do half of the Ram grill and half of the fucking plain grill from the weird age of the Impreza and Outback.
Yeah, like mid 2000s, almost looks like a Tribeca face on it. Ugly.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh shit! I scrolled down too far.
That's fine. I like that.
That doesn't look bad. That looks
it doesn't. Some of these just look fucking clean.
Grand Cherokee and Accord, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so Civic or something. Yeah, it's definitely a Honda. But yeah, dude, that looks
better than the Grand Cherokee from.
It looks better than the CRV and the CRX too.
What's interesting is that how these cars basically look so similar to each other. If you put an Acura badge on that right there, I'd be like, okay, that's a new Acura.
That's an MDX or some shit.
Yeah. Like, okay, well, I guess that's what.
And it looks high enough quality that it actually makes sense and could flow through like 15 different brands. Yeah, you put a Lexus badge on that, it makes sense too.
I mean, the wheels are a little wobbly, but they're not exactly round, but it's fine.
No, right here, there's a pretty big problem.
Yeah.
Someone curbed that one pretty hard. Oh my.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little melty in some
It
places.
looks like
but-
Lindsay Lohan definitely drove into half a dozen people.
Oh,
I like the front end on that one though. That's good.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
I
I
do too.
did too. It's cool. All right, so
that's heinous.
that's a Chevy Spark or something with a Subaru. It has to. Is that a Subaru Tribeca or something?
That might be a cross tour. That's like a cross tour Equinox looking thing. That's what that is.
Yeah, it might. Yeah,
Top
it might
of my
be.
head.
Here, let's. Does that help?
God, oh, man, all these cars look exactly the same.
Yeah, it's really odd how different they just don't look.
I can't tell if that's
like there's one or two lines that they hold is like a difference.
Is it a
CHR or HRV?
It's a Nissan Altima and a
Nissan
Chevy
Altima?
Equinox.
I would never have got that. No.
Yeah. The that's a Nissan Altima. Wow.
I don't see it personally. Like
no, I think it's more
Equinox.
Chevy. Oh, you know where I see it? I see it in the headlight shape. Yeah. So like an older Nissan Altima.
10-year-old or 15-year-old.
I kind of wrote that off as like Chevy Cobalt bullshit. Like fucking weird.
Yeah, they're all like that.
Oh, okay. you can see the Altima Maxima kind of shit back here.
You can. I was about to say Versa because it looked like the taillight from
a fucking Murano.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I hated my fucking Murano.
Hey, those are great cars, other than the transmission. And
other than the transmission.
Yeah.
Blew the transmission on going to buy
Nissan today. Yeah. Man. Won't touch anything made by Jatco with a 10-foot pole. You couldn't pay me.
All right, so that I mean Chevy. Is that Chevy with Chevy?
No, they're completely different brands.
Okay.
Okay, I don't, because it looks like a GMC or something with.
Something says EV, but like weird EV in the front of this to me. I want to say like Cybertruck or some shit. It's obviously not, but
yeah,
I can't really tell.
Toyota, Prius, something like that. There's Toyota vibes there.
That's probably the same shit with the headlights there.
Silverado and Corolla.
Or Corolla,
yeah.
This one kind of gave it away to me with the nose.
Yeah, right there. Uh-huh.
It literally looks like the fucking NASCAR nose, except just more squished.
It all looks like that car looks like it's mad at you. It's like
it looks like it's 100% realistic and would be made too, which is the more fucked up part that kind of fucks with. Wait, where have I seen that before? Because like half of it makes you click in your mind.
I'd be interested to see how much retouching they did on these because I haven't seen any car mashups done nearly this clean by any like AI bots. Man, this is wild.
No, I would guess that there's some retouching done.
Yeah, at the minimum, if not full hand drawing the shit. Like I assume that the ads probably.
I've seen people who made like the Rolls-Royce Cullinan, but like in the 70s, or like BMW SUVs in the 70s and 80s. Yeah. Like what they would have looked like back then. Those are fucking awesome. Those look.
Well, yeah. So one of my friends, he goes by Abimelech Designs. He does a lot of those stuff.
Yeah. Follow him on Instagram. I have for like probably a few years now. He makes crazy renders, man.
Really good dude. Yeah. That last one just looked like a regular car.
Yeah, it literally it fits with Honda like 110%. It's scary. I'll reshow it real quick. But yeah, like
that just looks like a Mazda CX-5.
That's a CX-3 or 5.
Yeah,
they're the same to me, man.
Like I can't tell that anything was mashed up at all.
That just looks like way higher off the ground than either of them, and that's how they should sell those fucking crossovers, but they don't.
Well, I don't know. I don't have any crossovers. I don't have any EVs, and it's not because I need to be dragged kicking and screaming into the future. But I don't see the point. It just seems like they're not very practical. They're more expensive than they need to be. They're more complicated than they need to be, and you can get a way better value by just getting something else. I mean,
my closest supercharger would be 50 miles away.
Right, so that creates a problem.
But we're getting rid of all gasoline-powered cars within the next 10 years.
Well, I'm sure that's a thing that's going to happen in the world. That's definitely realistic and not just a pipe dream.
Complete bullshit.
Yeah.
I've yet to see a city or a country that sets a reasonable goal for that shit, though, to get off fossil fuels when it comes to internal combustion engine vehicles. It's wild. Like Paris, London, all of them want old vehicles off their streets within the next few years. It's wild.
I just got done doing an event in the UK, and then I went around, just visiting people in the UK, YouTubers and stuff.
I saw you with the Car Throttle guys a little bit. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Alex Kirsten, he's an awesome dude. So actually, when I was with him, he lives close enough to London that they have something called ULEZ zone. That's an ultra low emissions zone.
No diesels. Yeah.
Maybe some diesels. I don't know, but like some of the newer stuff, you can have EVs, obviously. But if you have a car that doesn't fall under ULEZ, then you basically have to pay. It's something like 12 or 15 pounds a day to have your car there, and he lives there. So he immediately he has to pay 12 or 15 pounds per day per car that he has there. So he can't keep his cars in his house because all he has are like, project cars and whatever and stuff that's fun. So, either he needs to move, and that's really expensive, or he needs to just get a place that's out of that zone. So essentially he needs to have an efficient car to go get his fun cars. So that doesn't make any sense to me. I think, everybody that I've asked about those ULEZ zones are like, it hasn't actually decreased any emissions. It just
increases revenue. That's all it does.
It increases revenue. Yeah, it increases the burden on the people who actually have to go in and work in the city. So, I'm sure it's under the guise of like, well, we have to be cleaner and whatever. Like, all right, I get that, but I don't think this is like feasible. You don't have the charging infrastructure. The amount of energy that it takes to actually get from point A to point B in an EV is way more than you think. And to produce that energy, what's going to happen? To produce
and everybody's so ready to listen to people like Elon Musk and be like, yeah, well, charging takes 20, 30 minutes to fill up an entire car.
Yeah, if you subscribe to the higher paid service and are in a place that has working Gen 3
Tesla
superchargers.
And you have the highest efficiency shit and you have a good battery and everything else.
Elon Musk is a hype man.
Yeah. We're not talking about the random fucking Ford that you bought from your grandma that's an EV from 15 years ago.
Yeah. And even then, I mean, Teslas, if you get an old Tesla, it's like getting an old iPhone. Nothing works. It's going to things are going to, you're not going to have the features you want. You're not going to have the connectivity you want. It's going to be slower. The battery's not going to be as good, things like that. And if the battery needs to be replaced because it's going to be out of warranty, then that's
15.
Yeah, it's $22,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's a lot. So there are.
I was looking at getting a Tesla when we got the Durango. My fucking 4-year-old Durango, the fucking entire computer that's in the fucking dash is fucking shot because the screen delaminated. I was like, this is 100%. Well, you didn't buy the extended warranty. Fuck off with your extended warranty. Suck a dick.
Yeah.
Did that have the big touchscreen that they introduced with the Rams in like 2018, 19?
Not the super extended, ultra tall one.
But the one that's like 10 or 11 inches.
Yeah, it's a 10-inch screen.
Yeah. Which Durango did you get?
I got the 2018 Dodge Durango, I believe, SXT. It's the one right before they changed the grill to the shitty, ugly fucking Charger grill.
I love the Durango. I think it's a really good car.
Especially this time.
I love mine, yeah.
They are nice.
So I went to an event, Roadkill Nights in Michigan, and they gave us, as press cars from Dodge, they gave us Durango SRTs. So they got essentially the 392 and also the Hellcat. Dude, those things are so good. First of all, they launch better than a Charger or a Challenger Hellcat because they're all-wheel drive. So you have, like in a Charger or Challenger, rear-wheel drive, you have launch control, which goes up to like 2,500 RPM. So basically, foot on the brake, foot on the gas, and then it holds it at 2,500 RPM. You let go of the brake, and then it goes for you, and then it's supposed to, give you a brisk start. With the Durango, though, it goes to 3,900 because it's all-wheel drive, and it bangs into gear, and it feels like you're just getting shot out of a cannon. Like it feels so much more violent, and the shifts are great, and it sounds great. I mean, it's one of the most slept on cars you can get if you want to get.
I've never been in any of the Hellcat engined SUVs that they've made, but I have a few friends in Alberta when I lived out there who built first gen SRT8 Grand Cherokees. And those can be fucking sassy. Same thing too, man. The all-wheel drive, those things is wild. They hook.
Yeah, it's insane. So I drive a Hellcat Red Eye Charger every day, and it's such a it's interesting because it's very clearly a rental car that they put 800 horsepower.
Oh, I love it. It's still the same fucking shitty Chrysler plastics everywhere. Yeah, interior's a bit nicer, but
it's fantastic because they're like, how much? Like, most car companies they go, well, this platform, we've had it for a while. What can we do to refine it? What can we do to make it more luxurious or whatever? And Dodge goes,
shit out of this.
We're going to put 300 more horsepower into this thing. And we don't care what happens to the people inside it. We're going to make this thing we're going to put tires on this that get hard after 5 minutes. And then they become like ice if you try to stab the throttle in third gear. So it's so insane to me that they would sell this to people, to like regular people.
It really is wild.
They people that would take out loans for this, they're like, oh yeah, we'll give you 72 months on this this Dodge Charger, and then you just go wrap it around a telephone pole. It's all of the Chargers that have been in production are in Copart, all of them. Like they've all been crashed. I don't think there's any one that it's like a Viper. Every single Viper is a salvage title. Okay, that's just the way they come.
You can tell which Vipers have been crashed because they're the ones with the good panel gaps that have been rebuilt.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're the
Might
clean
as well
ones.
fix that.
The ugly ones are the ones that you don't want to buy because they haven't been hit. They haven't been hitting shit.
Yeah.
It's funny they don't make you take any kind of a test or some sort of like skill test to use the full 707 or whatever more if it's a Red Eye.
Oh, it's $8.
Don't give them ideas. Don't give them ideas because for damn sure they're gonna sell half the amount because half the idiots aren't gonna fucking buy
like
this
19-year-old fresh out of his first tour in the military. Hell yeah, gonna go finance me one of those, wrap it around a tree. That's
absolutely.
They've become the new Camaro for that shit, man.
It's the most American car you can ever buy, and it's made in Canada. So yeah, it's fantastic.
And now they're going to be gone.
Yeah. They're pretty well done now. It's about time that old E series Mercedes chassis dies, though, considering the first cars with those same underpinnings are creeping up on like 25 years old.
I feel like they still got another 20 years left in that platform. You can, why not 1,000 horsepower? Why not 1,300 horsepower? I feel like that's a good round number. Just keep on adding weight and adding power. I'm sure that at some point it gets better.
First family sedan to hit 4 digits. I could see it. It would definitely be that.
You could do like a pulley and a tune will get you there. It's insane. Yeah. I mean, you'll have to do some fuel stuff like injectors and stuff, but like essentially you don't open that motor up and you get 1,000 horsepower.
Wasn't one of the main weakest links in those whole drivetrains like rear ends, and that's pretty much like 1,000 horsepower issue, right?
Yeah. So the rear ends for it's a wheel hop really. So
it's just destroying shit by slapping around. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So if you have so they make aftermarket braces, which alleviates that problem. And if you run the good tires, so if you have slicks that can take out some of that wheel hop issue, the Red Eye axles are better. The Red Eye drive shaft is better, even though you can get carbon fiber drive shafts, all that stuff. But all that stuff is like known issues. The transmissions, they tend to be able to handle it, like as long as you're not like caning it all the time. The manuals aren't as good, but the automatics, the ZF 8-speeds, they're really, really stout. And the engines from the Red Eye has forged internals. So like you could literally throw incredible boost at that thing and it'll be fine.
I didn't realize the internals weren't all forged for the regular Hellcats. Were they not? Just crank and rods?
No, yeah. So there's no forged internals for the regular Hellcat. The Red Eye gets the forged internals, and then I believe there's a Helephant, which is 1,000
just the crate motor that you can buy from them.
Crate motor, and that's a 6.4, basically a 392, but it has forged internals. To make 1,000 horsepower, and the Red Eye blower. And the Red Eye blower is the same as a Demon blower. It's a 2.7 liter blower. Versus the 2.4 on the regular Hellcat.
Man. I didn't realize they were doing that with cast internals. That's fucking wild, man.
It's nuts. And I mean, these things they have a lot left to go, and you can beat on them all day. I mean, I was hot lapping, a year ago when I was at Roadkill Nights, and I mean, just beating on this thing, and it was stock, 800 horsepower, really fast. They're not, the fastest things on the planet because they're really heavy, like 4,600 pounds. But it's still like just an insane amount of performance that you can get from an engine that has a warranty and has air conditioning and won't overheat in traffic and stuff like that.
I can use the shit out of, but it'll still be there.
Absolutely. And it puts a smile. Like, I let everybody borrow this car. Like, I just go, you need to drive this car because it is insane. It is so stupid. Like, it puts a big, stupid smile on your face every time you drive it because there's no reason for it to be made. There's no reason for a car company to go, you know what, this car that has 300 horsepower needs another 500 horsepower.
That's what they all need.
I drove just a regular Hellcat Charger once. I think it was 2017, in early 2017.
Was it black or white camo?
No, it was not camouflage. No, it was nice. Black, brown leather interior. This guy
he was on the way to the vinyl shop. Yeah.
This guy just had his 300S T-bone, and literally the next day went out and bought one cash because he owned an auto body shop. He's like, you know what? I heard about these Hellcats. I want to get me one. And then we went for a drive that day. Holy fuck, that was fun. That was really good fun.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
No one needs that.
Tires in every gear. Yeah.
Now, with the way emissions and shit are going, do you think that Chrysler is going to end up putting that drivetrain in any other vehicle from now on, or do you think it ends at the TRX? Do you think that's it?
I think it ends. I think that's it. You don't see that drivetrain ever again because they're doing their new sort of performance platform, which is their twin turbo V6, which I believe, or inline six. I'm not sure. It's called the Hurricane engine, and I think it might be derivative of BMW. I'm not quite sure.
Oh, really?
But maybe I might be telling tales.
If that's a turbo straight six, I'd love to see that. That's awesome. There's no
twin turbo. Yeah, it should be twin turbo straight six.
Cool.
So that could be cool, but I mean, you know what, Dodge
all ends up being reliability wise. If it fucking lasts 100,000, then it'll be cool.
Yeah, that they fucking concepted looks pretty fucking sick too. The Hornet.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be a world car. I think it's
that's a rebadged Fiat of some sort.
Or like an Alfa Romeo or something.
It's like a Fiat mixed with a Durango. It's got some weird ass shit to it. It looks
so they have the new Charger, the EV Charger.
Yeah.
And it's good that they called it a Charger. Charger it's a funny play on words. I wasn't there. I had to go do some filming, but they invited me to go to their reveal event, and then I just saw all the stuff, and it's like, hey, we have a transmission that shifts, and then we have this exhaust that makes a noise that sounds sort of like an engine, and it's real loud, and
that's so obnoxious.
It's obnoxious and it's super annoying. It's like, hey, do you want everybody to hear Gran Turismo everywhere you go?
Vacuum cleaner noises.
Yeah, let's go back to PlayStation 2, boys. Put on the headset.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever been a speaker system that pumps out engine noise that has ever sounded like an engine. Like, it's just,
you would have to have a speaker or 8 speakers piping through tubes to make it sound anything near like it.
It's just the sound processing doesn't make any sense.
No.
And it's like the Uncanny Valley. If you watch,
it's like explosions almost. Like when you play Call of Duty, you could be at the center of an explosion and it's not going to sound like you actually have a grenade at your feet. It's just kind of, it's going to be as close as they can get, and that's about it. It's one of those things.
Exactly.
Such a 3-dimensional thing.
Yeah.
But it's so small and 3-dimensional, you can't really get the depth of what it is.
But you could, I mean, there's engines, even now, even they're, the computerized and all that stuff, they still have, there's a imperfection to them. Like, they don't idle like 100%, at the same RPM. They fluctuate a little bit.
Not a single car is the same. And
there's
just
absolutely.
A little bit of difference.
Yeah, there's just an imperfection. I think that imperfection gives us the personality of a car. Because each person, like, if a person was perfect, they'd be a robot. And it would just, they wouldn't be, or Jesus, I don't know if you guys are religious, but like there's no real way. Like, I see what Dodge is trying to do, and they're trying to manufacture that imperfection.
I wonder if they're going to be the one that kind of leads with the weird and the odd, like they have been with the Hellcat and the weird things like the Hellcat Durango, the Hellcat Cherokee, and just do stupid things with EVs and stuff like that to not only push the platform, but be the one that's different that everybody still wants.
Ends up being anything like the concept design-wise, it will be fucking cool as hell, because that huge air splitter they have at like the front end of the hood is one of the coolest things I've seen in a concept car in a long time.
It's really cool. I'm sure it'll be some variation of that, but I don't know who they're trying to get with this, because it's not the Tesla owner that wants a Dodge EV. You know, it's not the one that the person that's on the fence about it, because it's like this all sounds fake. You know, it's just like,
it's also not the guy that owns the Hellcat, because they have a Hellcat already.
Yeah, there's no reason to get this. Like, if you have a Hellcat, it's like, hey, let me get you in this new Charger. It's electric.
It's the guy with the Hellcat whose wife doesn't like putting gas in it. I think that's who they're going for.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know who this car is going to be.
Like, stereotypically, so I don't know if my grandpa's odd or not. He's about like 70 or so and had a Challenger. He's like, I wanted a Challenger my entire life after I got rid of my first one. I'm going to get another one. So he bought a fucking Dodge Challenger in fucking burgundy.
Mm-hmm.
Drove it around, loved the fucking thing. Style-wise, it does sort of look like it would fit with the old person style, but also wanting the speed of, like, you know, fucking around a bit.
I guess so. Here's the problem with selling to old people.
They're gone.
They're gonna die.
Yeah.
So you don't really sell that many cars to people, because
it's a lot like the Ford. What was that? The Thunderbird that came out in like 2005, 2006 when they redid the fucking Mustang.
Those things are fucking.
I don't hate those. I don't hate those. I don't hate those, but like, I can see why they didn't sell well. But when you have a car that I guess it's a poster car, but like, it just does, there's something for me, at least as a car lover, that does nothing for me. Like, it's missing something. It's like you're eating, food, and let's say it's a steak, and you're like, this steak it's bland. It needs
garlic. It needs something.
It looks
it's not there.
On the plate, the presentation is fine. But then you're like, fuck it. It just needs something.
Cut into it. Well done all the way through.
Yeah, it's well done. And turns out, and then you ask the waiter, like, hey, what's going on with the steak? Oh, it's Beyond Meat. It's not real meat. Like,
it's plastic.
Great.
It's woven plastic.
But listen to the exhaust. It sounds like a V8.
Yeah, like, doesn't it smell like a steak? It's like, yeah, but it tastes like rubber. So like,
you'll be hungry in 20 minutes and it'll be coming out of your ass in 40. Just like steak. Don't worry about it.
No, absolutely.
I also wonder if, with the new Fast and Furious movie coming out and all that shit kind of lining up, I wonder if they're going to release a race version of that fucking that Charger and Challenger platform right off the bat.
I don't think so. They are so. One thing Dodge doesn't have is money, and they don't have money for R&D. So whatever platforms they have, those are going to be the platforms that they're going to milk for the next
10 years,
20 years. Yeah, it's going to be insane. So
especially with the whole Stellantis side of things coming in there, because they've always like pinch pennies hard, especially in Europe, as Renault and Nissan. Like, they're only going to do more bad sharing and shittier, smaller turbo 4 cylinders and everything.
And well, they also hide it kind of well, and they make it. And I'm a fan of Dodge. I drive one every day. I like what they're doing. It's, it puts a smile on your face. But like, as far as a company, it's really interesting because they have this program, and they just announced it after they did the EV charger, and they said that you can buy essentially a Challenger kit car. Like, just, you can buy a body in white for like $9,000.
Fuck off.
Yeah, you can buy a body in white for $9,000. And then I'm thinking, well, of course you can, because they have to get rid of them. They
have them sitting there in boxes waiting.
Yeah, they have to either get rid of the whatever stock they have, or they have to get as much money out of the tooling as possible So of course, you know, whatever their cost, if their cost is, you know, $4,000 and then they sell this thing for 9, and then they just have somebody sign a waiver saying it's off-road use only.
Exactly. It's just for
You know?
drag cars. Yeah.
It's just for drag cars, or they don't give you a VIN or something like that. Like that would be perfect.
They would sell like hotcakes, and they could, like you said, tooling wise, they'd be able to make money back fucking decades from now, because people would be buying it 20 years from now. There'd be people repoing or rebuilding old Hellcats like yourself, even. Like,
what's interesting?
Market for it.
Yeah. So what's cool is that I have a Dodge Viper that I'm about to rebuild. I'm gonna pick it up after SEMA. And I was looking at like a frame for a Dodge Viper. Do you know they can buy a brand new frame from Dodge for like $14,000? Like the entire frame. So it's a 2002. So it's like a second gen.
Second. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
I had no idea they still made frames for them. That's fucking wild.
Yeah. So you could buy an OEM frame. I'm like, this is kind of nuts.
I'm sure they probably made them 20 years ago and they've just been sitting around.
The new old stock, of course.
Man.
But like it's still insane that they will do that. So Dodge has some pretty good support. But I don't think that nothing is revolutionary. It's just like they put all their R&D into the Hellcat engine, and then they're like, we're going to put this into literally everything. So I don't know with the EV stuff, like they're making it all-wheel drive, and I think they might have missed a mark in the fact that the car might not be able to do burnouts, or maybe it has a rear-wheel drive mode that can do burnouts. I don't know.
Oh, they would have to. People would be at their headquarters with pitchforks and torches if they didn't. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know, because if they're going after Tesla with their dual motor thing, and all they want is track times or whatever, like
true,
speed.
They just want straight line speed. No one cares about the fun.
No. I mean, listen, a Charger is a straight line car. It's not. It has a sport mode and all that, like racing mode and whatever. It has active suspension. It does nothing. There's no appreciable difference. What they did to increase the grip of the car is just give it 305 wide tires at all 4 corners. That's just like,
so they 305 up front too. Oh, that's scary in a sedan like that, man. You hit the worst bit of rain, like, okay, yeah, that's fun.
Well, I mean, so I have one thing. If anybody has a Charger Hellcat wide body, the first thing you do is you get rid of those garbage tires. It has some Pirelli P0 all seasons on it, which they turn rock hard in like 5 minutes, and they make the car literally undrivable if you're on it, like really, really on it. Like it makes the car scary. But I got Michelin PS4S's, and now the car hooks. Now the car actually handles. Like it's such a night and day difference. It's like a different car. But I really like the car. I think it's fine, but you can tell that they just did a lot of mechanical grip stuff, just like they did on the Viper. They're like, why don't we give it 285 front tires and 345 rears? So like,
let's make it weird.
Like yeah, well, let's go crazy with it. Like instead of doing active suspension or magnetic ride or whatever, is like just whatever.
Stuff as much rubber as you can underneath there.
Absolutely, yeah. Just make
the
it
softest
real
compound you can on a passenger car.
Yeah, let's just slap a bunch of over fenders on it and then call it a day.
It looks like I was never a fan of the styling with the wide body Chargers. It just looks like such an afterthought, and it is obviously.
It absolutely is an afterthought, but I like it. I love that there's a factory hey, we essentially put a Liberty Walk kit on this Charger, and you're gonna buy it.
I would have to say the Charger GT has to be the nicest looking thing they've done with that platform yet. I love those wheels, and most of the ones I've seen in real life are like the pale, kind of darker gray. I love that color.
They're cool, man. Yeah, for sure.
Just that was the color Durango we were trying to get. We were trying to get that one or the army green one, and we were going to wrap the hood black.
Well, I'm currently in the process of building a Pacifica Hellcat.
Fuck off! I was going to say something about that earlier with the renders. No way.
Yeah, so the renders, I actually have the guy who did the renders. He made a full set of renders for me, and we're making the Pacifica Hellcat. So I have a 1,300 horsepower Hellcat Red Eye engine going in a 2017 Pacifica.
Was that render of the blue Pacifica Hellcat, was that from Abby as well?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I knew I'd seen it somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
So at first it was a Photoshop that he did, and then he made a 3D render.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
There was a render for a Magnum that me and Ippo found while we were just scouring the internet one night.
Oh, they're like kind of facelifted, like a modern day one. Yeah.
There's a guy who's making that right now.
Yeah, they
I
made a Charger and a Durango put together, and it was fucking squished and
Yes,
weird.
that one had like a Durango
Yeah.
front end. That's what it was too. It wasn't
And
even
it
Charger.
looked fucking sick. I wish they kept the fucking Magnum.
That was cool.
I'm looking for it right now. There's a
I love the wagons.
there's a guy that literally made that car, and he's making it all-wheel drive.
Damn.
And all-wheel drive Hellcat, and he did all the body work on it. He did a carbon roof, and it looks fantastic.
That's a big piece of carbon delay. That's
So to
is
do
crazy.
things like that and like crazy one-off things, whether it's your Hellcat Pacifica or like to upgrade things that way and kind of change how they're perceived, like, is that crazy monetarily incentivized because of your job being a YouTuber, or is it still negative to you? Like,
well, I mean, it all depends because I have some sponsors, and sponsors definitely help out with a lot of that.
Oh,
a lot
absolutely.
of this stuff.
Yeah.
So as long as they get their end of the bargain in terms of like viewership and stuff like that, then it makes sense for me. I tend not to be in the red on any of my projects, but it's not like I'm making like tons of money from this, because most of the money that I make just goes back into projects. And it just so happens that I like cars, and
it just seems like that one's like kind of theory crafty, where it's not like I'm fixing this car and putting it back together. It's I'm kind of changing it and changing what it is and how it's perceived.
Yeah. And I like that too. Yeah. I like doing that too, because first of all, I'm a big fan of the Pacifica. I think it's a great car. It's an awesome practical family car, good road trip car, and it's good on gas. It actually has decent power, has like 290 horsepower. And I'm like, what if we made it rear-wheel drive and gave it 1,300 horsepower? And
just did stupid things.
Yeah, I mean, it's still going to be as practical. I'm going to have the stow and go seats and all the stuff that makes it a Pacifica, but it's just going to do sick burnouts.
It's like the USDM equivalent of Bisimoto's old 1,000 horsepower Odyssey from back in the day, because that still had AC. That was fully loaded, everything. Yeah.
So but his car is also front wheel drive.
Yeah,
so that Odyssey. Front. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I always wanted to have something that looks like it came out of the factory. Not like BC's car was great, but it had a giant
massive intercooler. Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm like, you're not fooling anybody with that. It's like, it's a massive intercooler and drive around on.
Plus, it was slammed on its face too. It was low.
Yeah. So
make a demon version of the Dart. Oh, this is just beast mode. A whole bunch of corny beast references.
I'm still trying to look for that. That actually look. I'm just gonna type in. Look at wagon.
Yeah, the render that I saw for that was in that army green too. That shit looked crazy.
Yeah, that was neat. That was like a stepped-on Durango Hot
Wheels, it was
basically,
squished.
Is what it looked like.
Okay, yeah, it's his name is Junkyard Dave. I'm gonna send it to you in the chat.
Okay.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You could scroll through that, but he goes through some of the build.
Damn.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like, I mean, he did some serious work to this thing.
Oh, Charger body lines down the side of it, everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
So Charger Red Eye, and
nice.
Yeah. It's a Magnum Hellcat. Like, he did everything right. But it's obviously taken him a while. But he did his custom, like a custom subframe, all-wheel drive subframe that he made from a Trackhawk, I believe.
No way.
Weird. Yeah, custom suspension, coilovers, all that stuff.
Shit looks super fucking clean.
The body work towards the rear to get that Charger light bar to work with the Magnum body is fucking phenomenal.
That's
insane, man.
Yeah. It looks. This
is the stuff that I can appreciate almost more than anything else done with modern cars.
At 9 minutes and 45 seconds, he has a nice shot of it.
That looks so clean from behind. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. He has some beauty shots.
That roof is wild. That's all one piece too.
Wow. That is so fucking clean though.
Mm-hmm.
I have mad respect for that. I have a good buddy who this guy's a fucking animal. I met him when he was 17 or 18 maybe. He was senior year of high school. Bought an S13. Someone drove into him, crashed it. He bought a right-hand drive shell, built an SR20, yada yada, built a street legal drift car and whatnot. Now it's like $100,000 into it, fucking almost 1,000 horse capable 2J and shit. And he learned how to vacuum form carbon fiber on his own. So he's now made his own hood, his own roof skin, his own fucking quarters, and like hatch everything.
Oh yeah, it's
body work like that is fucking insane on a finished product. It is
pretty nuts when you think about like how people learn these different skills and whatnot to get their cars to a certain level. I mean, these, if you applied these skills in different ways, you could actually
make untold amounts of money. But a lot of people don't want to do, well, especially when it comes to bodywork, to do that for a living is hell, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's why I hired a really good body guy to do my body work. And I mean, he works with me every day. Really, really good dude, Jack. And he knows, I mean, he's been in the industry 13 years and he knows all the OEM, procedures and make sure he's very, very detail oriented. So when, it came to rebuild my Ferrari, it's not like we were just putting things together just to make a YouTube video. Like we were looking up, like, all right, so this is where they cut from the factory. This is what we do. This is the kind of rivets we use. This is the kind of seam sealer we need to get. This is the kind of panel bond we need. And like, things like that. It's like, all right, so we're just going to make sure that everything is done, to an OEM standard or better.
Well, yeah, you end up talking about stuff that makes the car more structurally sound. That's not just cosmetics at that point, especially when you're talking about panel bonding.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when you talk about YouTube, a lot of people, and I'm not going to name any names, but like when they do rebuilds of cars and there's a ton of, I just bought the cheapest whatever on Copart.
Yeah, everyone's stealing your whole.
No, it's not even.
Really.
I mean, it's not necessarily my shtick, but like it's been done. But there's a lot of people that are like putting these cars together, and they are
very
really
half-ass. Nice from 50 feet.
Yeah, I mean they're fine for a YouTube video because a video hides a lot of crimes, man. But like you look underneath.
You can make Lamborghini Mioras Miura out of fucking Pontiacs. What the fuck are you talking about?
You could absolutely.
And just hide it. It's not hard.
But it's nuts because they're doing these things that are like structural repairs. So they'll take a frame rail that's like bent like this. And they're like, oh yeah, all we got to do is pull it. And then we just bolt stuff to it. It's
yeah,
like,
that's not how metal works.
No, except that metal is now fatigued. And instead you have to you can pull it, but then you have to replace this whole section to make sure that everything else is square.
Yep.
So it's like when we did my Ferrari, we made sure that we weren't pulling any aluminum. We're just replacing everything.
Yeah.
So we just went back to the car, back to a place in the car where everything sort of lined up, and we tram gauged it and make sure all the stuff was straight. And then we're like, okay, from here forward, we just got to get everything new. And that's the way it works. But if you don't have that kind of money, or if you don't have that kind of patience, and it doesn't work.
See, one of the first people I ever saw really go crazy in depth rebuilding anything exotic would be BS for Builds. And I first found his YouTube channel when he bought his first BRZ back in the day. Like I was in high school. I was probably in 10th or 11th grade. Like when he started his YouTube channel, I've been following him for years.
So that's the guy that I messaged first when so we did I was writing for Jalopnik back in 2014, and I watched his stuff pretty religiously. And now Chris is one of my, he's a really good friend.
The shit he's doing now is fucking wild, man. It's so cool to see him come from where he did. I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's always been really ambitious. I think the first thing we did together was this $1,500 rear-wheel drive challenge. So I bought a Mustang 5-speed V8 convertible. It's like a 95. And I drove it from Arizona to LA, where I met up with Chris, and Chris had some G35 that he bought from Copart and kind of made it haphazardly work. And we went out to El Mirage dry lake bed.
Oh,
we just decided to do a bunch of little challenges, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna try my hand at this, and it ended up being okay, it was a fun video.
I've never seen that. I didn't realize that's the first thing you guys did together. I'm gonna have to watch that one.
Cool. It's a little rough, but it was fun. I think I had 30,000 subscribers at that point, and then he had 100,000. I was pretty small at that point, but then he loves doing a lot of JDM stuff. Mm-hmm. His GTR series did really well. And
there's nothing that dude won't tackle, from the smallest rebuilds of a lightly smashed car to this Lotus Evora is cracked in half. I'm going to learn how to work on fiberglass and rebuild it all. Fucking guy's a legend, man.
Yeah. So I mean, he's a really good guy. Like he's an awesome dude. And he's
you can tell
really
because
good.
like some of his videos, even where he does like half vlog stuff, like going to the shop, buy shit in between. He'll meet fans and fucking include them in videos and stuff too. Yeah, he's awesome. I've always found it funny. There's so many similarities between me and him. Both named Chris, both gingers, both had Mark III Supers as their first cars. Love it. It's funny.
Yeah. I did a actually I hadn't put out a video
it's like
on
me
it.
And white trash, had no money growing up, had kids very young, failed their entire life, and all of a sudden something starts working.
Yeah.
Your rap career is taking off.
Exactly.
There you go. Yeah, man.
The real hot shade.
What's the last thing that you would have done with B is for Build? Actually, I haven't followed his channel for quite a while now.
I haven't put it out yet, but I just did a thing where I drove and helped do like maintenance and stuff on his Lemons car. So we went Lemons racing. So if you're not familiar with Lemons, it's essentially a $500 car that you go racing in like an actual racetrack. But the catch is you have to have a ton of safety equipment. You have to have fire suppression. You have to have a roll cage.
$5,000 worth of equipment in a $500 car.
It's more like 10 grand because you got to have a race suit. You got to have a suit. You need socks, underwear, a helmet that's SFI approved. All this stuff, and then you have consumables. You have your travel. You have people you're paying to be there, all that stuff. So it ends up being pretty expensive to put a $500 car around a racetrack. But it's a lot of fun. It's true endurance racing. So Chris had a CLK 320 Mercedes, like in the early 2000s. So it was like a V6 automatic trans that just did not like to shift. Like it was very comfort based. And he made it look like a CLK GTR. He put some over fenders from a trailer on it. He just put a bunch of like fins and stuff in it. It looked really cool. Let me see if I can get a picture of it. But yeah, it was.
Oh, you said that hasn't been released at all on YouTube, right?
Oh, so he released his. I haven't released mine yet.
When was this Lemons race?
God, what is it? It was a few months ago. But let me see if I can get. Yeah, there we go. So.
Oh my god, I see the crazy arrow on this now. That is hilarious.
Yeah,
man, that's a like pretty faithful replica of like the touring cars back then.
It's not bad. It really is not bad.
I like it.
So he had new wheels and tires on it, and the tires were like super wide. So we actually had so much grip, like we had a lot of mechanical grip, so we could outturn a lot of the competitors. But the car, like the transmission, just did not want to shift. So in the middle of a turn, you had to floor it, and then by the end of the turn, that's when the car
just shifting.
You have to anticipate it.
Full second earlier.
Yeah, no, it was nuts. I mean, if this thing was manual, it would be like an actual good race car. But the engine was fine. I think it made 200 something horsepower. It seemed like it was okay-ish, it was definitely running a bit rich, but that thing made it the entire 2 days. There was a point where we had a penalty, and once you have a bunch of penalties, they call you into the penalty box, and then the stewards, they all scream at you, and they go, come on, stop being stupid. But we had enough penalties that they had to tie our driver to the roof with saran wrap. And then all three of us had to drive the car around the paddock with megaphones saying, we're sorry, we're terrible drivers. YouTube is no excuse. So that's the kind of racing this is. I mean, you should not take anything seriously. It's all just for fun.
I think they should do that in NASCAR and F1. I think that would solve a hell of a lot more issues than what the hell they do. Oh, yeah, we're going to
public humiliation. Oh dear God, yeah.
I think there should be a active landmine in one of the cars, and nobody knows which car it is, and one of the people in the stands gets the detonator. Okay, and that's just listen. You want to make $40 million a year? That's the price you pay, my friend. Okay.
It's not full-blown death race, but we're getting there. We'll get there eventually.
They should just do death race. It
They
shouldn't be
should.
complicated.
It'd be a good way for prisoners to like earn their freedom, get rid of a bunch of unused cars. Like, yeah, man, it's a great idea.
I
Bring down the
wouldn't do the
prison
freedom bit.
population.
I would just say they can.
No, you don't add murderers. You just allow anybody who's less than murder and rape, allow them to do whatever the hell they want with this car. And
then it gets sad because they're all like drug crimes and whatever. It's like, or like, it's drug crime versus white collar crime.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't pay my taxes, so I'm in a death
shit
race.
with cars. Get the people who ran drugs from Mexico. Get the people who were caught street racing like 1,000 horsepower shit. That's who you need to get.
Yeah. Get the people who are street racing. So you have Dominic Toretto.
Family.
Get a Corona sponsorship. Oh man, that would work. Yeah.
I feel like you would absolutely need like the violent people, and then you would just tell them like you'll be able to kill people now, and then
but like if you think about
that's where everyone gets off the wagon with this one. Yeah, no one likes
it's a person who's killed one person. I completely agree, but they have a like sort of mean streak to them, like they were a gangbanger for half their life, and they're not afraid to kill somebody. But they didn't get caught more than once. But somebody who sat there and did serial murders and shit, you don't want him getting out again because for damn sure he's going to murder more people, and then you have a problem.
So here's the thing: we don't give them their freedom; we just let them kill other people that have killed other people.
Oh, so the race is their prize.
That's it. Yeah,
they get to drive again. That's all.
It was a George Carlin bit, I think, in the 70s or 80s, and it's sort of like that. Like we just let them fight it out. And at the end, we put them on a podium and we blow their brains out.
It's okay. Paul Walker will make them all escape with an accurate MSX.
His humor is so good. Okay. I miss him, man. He's a great comedian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's weird. I need to go explore some more comedian content. The only comedian that I found that I was like, you know what? I can actually enjoy most of his comedy and only one tour is Dane Cook. I have not found anybody since Dane Cook's Vicious Circle tour that I'm like, yeah, you know what? I can listen to all of this.
So I went to that Vicious Circle tour in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And I mean, was that 2003?
It's like 4 or 5, I think, something like that. Yeah. It's early 2000s.
That's insane. Like if you look at, I don't know, I went back and listened to some Dane Cook, and I'm like, it doesn't hold up because it's not like shit that would happen now. It's like, dude, if you had a cell phone, fixes half of these stories. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's essentially Seinfeld, right? Yeah. Like every problem that they have could be solved with a cell phone.
But like him calling his friend and being like, man, I got an idea. It's like, yeah, I've had those phone calls. Okay. What do you want to do? I want to do a B&E. What's that? Breaking and entering. Okay, we're going to drive up to this house. You scout out the house. You go into a cul-de-sac. You make sure nobody's home. Nobody's in the full entire cul-de-sac. You walk up to the front door. And you fucking kick it. And it goes down the fucking hallway. And then I'm like, I don't want to do a B&E anymore. All I want to do is kick a fucking door down. Like, yeah, I got to get it.
So I thought this story was headed towards you stealing more N64 games for a second, Zach.
Exactly. Like he's, I guess he's trying to make a comeback or something. He's been on a bunch of podcasts recently. Yeah, and it's really insightful to hear what happened.
I think it was Andrew Schultz that did this. He released a special on only his website for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Only allows paid customers in and will not allow it to be released anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it makes sense.
But that story that he dealt with is fucking nuts. His brother stole every single fucking dime he had, and
no way, I didn't know that.
Tons of tax bills to pay.
Yeah, he put his brother in prison.
Yep.
Go away! Holy shit!
Yeah. Speaking of prison, because of paying bills, Alex Jones has to pay $965 million to the parents of the Sandy Hook kids.
This shit's nuts.
That's an exorbitant figure. Like.
So I don't.
It's fucking insane.
It reminds me a lot of the Gawker and Hulk Hogan stuff.
It's like you're gone now. You're gone. There is no more business.
That's it. You're like, obviously this is all punitive, but it's insane. It's like there's no way. First of all, there's no way he's going to pay any of that money because it's $1 billion.
Like, oh my god, yeah, we did it. We won. Okay, number one, you're not releasing how much money he earned from those episodes that he talked about this. Okay, so how much money did he earn from those episodes where he talked about this? How much did those sponsorships pay? How much did those views pay? And then, yes, you are entitled to a percentage of that, but that's going to be spread across those people that actually decided to sue him. Well, why the hell is this $1 billion?
Well, if you look at what he
said and did, disgusting. I'm not agreeing with anything.
No. What I'm saying is, like, you look at there's a breakdown of who he has to pay, and it's like per parent, and it goes up from, I think the lowest is like 37 million, and the highest is like 120 million.
Wow.
Because I mean, he docks people.
Yeah,
and,
that's
absolutely.
like more than just defamation and slander. It was fun.
No. This isn't like, hey guys, I think something, X and Y. This is like, this person is a plant, or this person is obviously, they're faking it or whatever, like just vile crap.
The guy's come out to be right about a lot of stuff, but that was the biggest swing and the miss the man will ever make in his career, and it's killed him.
It's like he got a couple swings that went for singles. He went for a single, kept hitting singles, and then all of a sudden he's like, you know what?
Let's put on a blindfold.
I think I see something that's right size right here. I'm gonna swing as hard as I fucking can right now, and fucking missed.
What's interesting is that Tyler Hoover, another YouTuber, a friend of mine, he did a review of his Ford Lightning EV, and he did a towing test with it. And the towing test was like, it was pretty, I mean, it's an EV, it's going to be bad on towing. So he got like 90 miles of range erased in like 20 or 30 miles, something like that. I mean, yeah, it didn't do well at towing. It was, it maintained speed fine.
And towing something like 8,000, 10,000 pounds kind of, or what?
No, I mean, it was a single car trailer with like a Ford Model T behind it. It was
so not much, no.
Yeah, but I mean, there was wind resistance, all that stuff. Like I get that it could play into it. He's also going like 70 miles an hour, which is
Oh, that doesn't help shit with towing, but still, yeah, that's a lot of mileage to pull off.
Yeah. So the right wing blogosphere took this, and I mean this video now probably has 2.5 million views because Hannity ran it, and then Alex Jones on InfoWars was talking about it. Dude, it was amazing.
Well, so the Ford fucking truck, just that way you know, the new EV is complete dog shit. You lose a third of your entire gas range the minute you take off. It just goes to absolute dog shit.
So that statement that you made is more accurate than the one Alex Jones made.
Sure enough.
It's more accurate to the video. That, first of all, they play 2 minutes unedited of the video like that Tyler put out. And it's like, hey guys, you want to cut this up a little bit?
He played the whole thing. That's awesome.
He just played the entire thing. But he talks about it like, oh, you see this truck can't even go past 25 miles an hour and blah blah blah. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, in the video,
things out of proportion. Like,
you can clearly see him doing 70. And it's the only issue.
The thing, Tavarish, is that 70 actually means 20, because that's just the Grand Cabal lying to you. So when you drive an electronic vehicle,
instead of let's turn the frogs gay.
This normal fucking American gas regulated diesel truck that I get from GMC, it has the big ass fucking tires on the back. Sometimes I even put 2 there just to make it look fucking cool. That pulls my fucking airplane that I brought over to Sandy Hook. Fucking amazing.
I mean, it was insane how he was obviously shooting from the hip and just making everything up. So
there's a lot of people who believed every word that he said about the whole Sandy Hook ordeal, which is just sad, but
it gave Tyler a good boost. Like when he got picked up by all these, he got picked up by Breitbart, by Hannity, by it's.
I always
crazy.
loved his content too because he's hilarious. Dude,
Tyler's great, but like we were watching this in real time, and like me, Ed, and Tyler, we talk every day, and we're just like watching this. He's like, I fucking love it. He's like, I don't know what's happening right now. Like this is insane. Like it just got picked up here, and look at my views, and he made a video about how the right wing blogosphere, like everyone like just went nuts over this stuff and like how they like misattributed things and said things that weren't really true. But it's the Alex Jones thing is like that's
fucking awesome. I have to go find
nuts.
it, man.
Yeah.
But this shit is so specific and crazy right now. With like, if something takes off, it goes to the moon. If it doesn't take off, it just does normal shit, and it will never be seen by anybody else. YouTube makes absolutely no fucking sense, especially in that specific aspect. It's like, unless you're picked up by somebody, it just does what it normally does.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, but I'm just looking at it as thing now. So the first video was called "Towing with My Ford Lightning EV Pickup Was a Total Disaster." They got 2.7 million views, and then his next video on that said, "Conservative media and Ford went to war over my Lightning EV towing disaster, and I want peace." And that got 1.5.
1.5 9 days ago. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
I'm gonna have to watch both of them now. Fuck.
It's really something.
Was the Lightning the truck that they tried to do the whole, I'm going to tow the fucking airplane 5 feet down the runway and show it like it fucking towed it down the entire thing?
No, I think that was the Tundra. Like it towed the space shuttle or whatever.
Yeah, it was something fucking stupid.
A few manufacturers have done that now. Chevy with the 454 SS back in the 90s, they did that, towing a plane. Some other companies did it, I think.
It was like one a couple years ago. I thought it was an EV because I thought I remember either Matt Farrer or Ed talking to the boys about it.
I love selling car ads like that. Nothing beats the Germans, though. They'll always put fucking weirdest shit in their ads.
It's wonderful because that is just a it shows you that people don't really understand how physics works.
Nope.
So like, all right, Engineering Explained did a really good explainer on this. Like, no, the Ford F-150 cannot tow like a space shuttle, because you have to overcome a lot of stuff. Like, what happens if
so much static friction with a fucking something that heavy sitting there, not already moving.
Right. But like you also like you could probably get it moving if if certain parameters are met, but like you're not going to be able to stop. You're not going to be, you're overworking the transmission, the engine.
That truck will never
clutches are the first thing they're going to go in.
The amount of load on that car. You're not getting it. What are you doing? Highway speeds? Are you getting up to 25 miles an hour towing a space shuttle? No.
I think that was the bullshit part of the commercial too, because they're like, yeah, you can even tow this plane, and it's like a full-on 757. They start moving it, and it actually shows them moving like 50 feet, but they actually go like 5, and it's just like completely bullshittedly shot. And it's like, no, there's no way that they did
10 different camera angles, taking a bunch of takes
right before the trans falls out of it. Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
I mean, you could like, so there's ways to do that. There is the strongman competitions where they do the bus pull and like
literally human beings can pull trains and planes.
The trains and stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's hard, but you can do it slowly. Cars can do it. Cars can put power to the ground and stuff, but like they're not.
Well,
just because they can tow, that doesn't mean that that's what you're towing behind you on the highway.
I don't know about you guys, but I always got confused when my mom would push against the fucking Dodge Spirit and it would start rocking back and forth. But I guess the more weight you put on something, the springs actually activate.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you can push a 3,000-pound car, I mean, that's
well, when you're a sixth of the weight of the car, I guess it moves a little bit.
Oh, so if you guys want to see a cool trick that'll impress your friends, next time you need to push a car, instead of pushing a car from the bodywork, roll the tire. Like put your hands on the tire and roll it. It's infinitely easier to roll to move that car. Yeah, because you don't have to overcome, I guess, the inertia of the car, and like you're not loading the suspension up, and that you have to put all that stuff into motion. You're putting it directly to the tire, and it's super easy.
Fuck off! I would never have thought of that.
And then you have the dipshits,
or even like pulling on the spokes of some wheels. I'm sure are probably really easy.
Yeah. So just do it from the tire, and you can move like cars on your own.
I always prefer to push them from the A-pillar driver's side and steer. I've had to do it too many times.
Yeah, I do that too, but sometimes overcoming that is
that could be impossible sometimes.
Yeah. So just try it from the tire. I'm
gonna have to try that.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I have a BMW. I've had to push it. It happens.
Yeah, I mean that's more often than not, right? What kind of BMW you got?
I have a 95 E34 525i Touring. It's a
wonderful
shit heap, but it's There's so few of them. I've never seen another one on the road. So
I just bought a 94 E36 M3.
I saw that
from the UK.
Euro
Yeah.
spec M3 at that, which is
Yep.
infinitely better, almost 50 more horsepower than the USPDM ones.
Yeah.
ITBs, love them. Yeah.
And this one's right-hand drive, and it's super clean. It's Avis Blue, has like 126,000 miles on it, and it's a nice car.
Any rust in the usual spots? Trunk
No.
lid?
They took care of all that. It
Nice.
has been resprayed, but I looked underneath it. Seems fine. It drives great. I mean, I thought 300 horsepower wasn't really that much, but I mean, it has like 290 or whatever. But like,
yeah, they're close enough.
It drives like new. You know, it's super nice. And I'm not a BMW fan, and I looked at that car. I'm like, this thing makes sense. I like it.
Old BMWs, there's something else about them, especially E34. Like I've had this car a couple of years now, and they're just perfect combination of not too big, solid, comfy, reliable enough. Man, if you like working on stuff.
Go back to back. The gen that Tavarish just bought, and then the gen after, the one that was in Need for Speed Most Wanted.
E46 and E36
so
like is
clean.
Yeah. So I'm currently building one of those, the E46
M3 as well.
Yeah, M3.
Cool.
And I am having a hell of a time because I'm trying to do a carbon roof, and the carbon roof has been back ordered for 5 months now. So you know, I've just been like parts problems have been a bit of my existence.
Is it just like modified OEM drivetrain and stuff? Still S54? Yeah,
still S54. I'm just doing OEM plus, so we're not doing anything super crazy to it. But
that's pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean,
I've never built one before. Never been in one. Only up to like 330s.
They're good. They're really good. You don't have, you know, because what are they? 333 horsepower. That's at the tippy top of their rev range. Right.
Yeah, it's peaky. The last of those NA6s, beautiful because like my wagon is a late model E34, so it's M50 B25 TU, so it's the first Vanos straight sixes, and just when that comes on, man, glorious.
Yeah, that just means that they leak more. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, they just you know, that means they're happy. But my BMW, I don't drive it, and then it still leaks all over the place. So like I don't.
Understandable.
It just needs.
I've had to put a radiator and an expansion tank in mine just from them not fitting properly because you can't get fucking new old stock shit that actually fits well. Like I've got a whole radiator with a coolant tank and everything, and like it's just so annoying.
For anybody that doesn't know about BMWs, their entire cooling systems are made of plastic.
They love plastic.
So they're
supposed to cool Tavarish. If they were metal and they held in the heat, they wouldn't cool shit.
That's right. Oh my God, is that Bimmer forums? You know,
plastic bleed screws, everything. I hate it all.
So after a certain amount of time, they will explode. Like my first M3, the expansion tank blew up after I parked the car
because they just get so brittle from being heat cycled a billion times. So
yeah. So that's fun.
That's why I want to get an aluminum radiator for it, and since it's so mild out, the dream for that car is to UZ swap it with some sort of manual transmission because I am like a Toyota fan at heart. And,
why don't you do a 2JZ?
Well, I have a 1JZ GTE in an 89 Supra. That was the first car I bought. It's been off the road a few years now because it's fucking old and clapped, but like I've just been collecting parts for it basically. And
I think everybody with an MK3 Supra is collecting parts for it. It's like, I'm going to make this really, really cool. And then
there's so many like weird aftermarket mods for them because they have such shit real support for so much shit like drift motion. I'm sure you've heard of in California. Of
course. I also have a 1J. I had a 1J in my SC300, and I have that.
In an SC? Ooh.
Yeah.
Not a Soarer, so it's a left-hand drive?
Left-hand drive, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was my first kind of like big engine swap, and then I love that engine. I love the 1JZ. I think it's a fantastic platform.
I've driven vehicles with 2Js, 1.5 JZs. A few of my good friends have built them, but just like 1JZ GTE, like twin turbo. Obviously, I had the twins blow in mine. That was inevitable.
Because they're made like they're ceramic. How do they blow? Did they grenade?
Literally, okay, so the exhaust wheel blew up on the rear one.
Yeah, so they'll do that because they're ceramic.
They delaminate from the shafts,
At some point, they just go I don't feel like being a turbo anymore, and then just explode.
I was doing fat second gear burnouts with the thing, and I just heard bang, and I was like, "Was that a rod?" I'm like, "These bitches are forged." I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I called a friend of mine who's like Jay-Z nerd, and he's like, "Look in your tailpipe." I'm like, "What do you fucking mean? Look in your tailpipe." And there were bits of ceramic that made it all the way to the fucking muffler, and were on the ground. I'm like, "You are a genius!" Wow.
my twins aren't blown, which is insane to me. But it's just, it's a matter of time. So, a decent sized single should be okay for that.
So I got the Drift Motion T4 kit that doesn't come with a turbo, so you choose your own T4 turbo, and it has like downpipe, everything else. And I got a Borg S200 SX, which is like 51 mil compressor size, twin scroll, good fucking shit. They're only journal bearing, but they were cheap.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it should spool okay.
Yeah.
Is this a little too geeky and nerdy?
No, you're good.
I mean, maybe.
I was letting you actually have the conversation. There's no reason to butt in.
I'm just saying, I'm full Toyota nerd, and I just like the 1J more than the 2J because they're over. So, like, just the sound.
With the different things that you've owned off of TV and movies and all that shit, with the Fast and Furious cars, the fucking Pimp My Ride cars, and all that shit, what is something that you wanted to recreate but you haven't yet?
Well, though, I mean, the one that got away would be the Bugatti Veyron that went into the Galveston Bay.
Yeah.
So that car is, I know where that car is. I know who owns it. I've been to that car. I have seen all the parts with it, and nothing on that car scares me. But it's being rebuilt now. Houston Crosta from Royalty Exotics has that car. So if anybody's not familiar with that car, then it is Bugatti Veyron. I believe it's an 06.
Yeah, that was an early car and a very memeable picture. They had
a lot of fun with a Pelican and decided to go
absolutely. So it was in Texas, near the Galveston Bay, and there was a very famous video of it going right into the bay. And this was it was memed because the guy said, "I'm pretty sure it's a Lambo, dude." And then as soon as it hits the water, they go, "Oh my God!" They freak out, right? And it's just shot on potato, but you can clearly tell that's the car. And the guy that owned the car, his name is Andy House, and he was trying to do an insurance fraud scam on that car. And he said that there was a Pelican that got in the way, and then he had swerve. And then
I didn't know that's what happened. What the fuck?
Yeah, he went to prison. Yeah, he went to jail.
Damn.
So that was fun. And so that car just went away for a while, and then it came up for sale for like $300,000. But it was in a bunch of places and in a million pieces. And Ed Bullion and I tried to get that car, but it was unclear who had actually owned it, because I mean, this is all on VinWiki, and we told the story a billion times, but there were multiple claims to the car. Apparently there was a
manufacturer's liens, a whole bunch of mechanics liens.
Something like that. There was a defunct used car dealership that had claim to it, but then they went bankrupt, and then people that actually had the parts, they said that they were the rightful owners, and then
that's fucked.
Yeah, but then Houston came in, and I think he bought the whole thing. I don't know how much he bought it for, but he bought it for I wouldn't say much more over the asking price. Over $300,000. Maybe he paid $400,000, $450,000. I don't know. But then I tried to buy it, and then we just couldn't reach a number because I think he just wanted to keep it. And that just kind of stuck in, like, that is the girl that got away, man. Like it's the one I'm like, oh God, that would have been my perfect, like, there's nothing on that car is unsavable. And if it is, then I would have found a way around it. Like if I could rebuild a McLaren, like,
well, there's like no, like, I'd imagine even like Volkswagen or Audi stock for any of that shit anymore. Would there be for most of the body suspension? Do they still have parts for them? That's really
I mean, suspension and stuff. That was largely fine. What the issue was it went into into salt water. So salt water just corrodes all the electronics.
Oh yeah, that's
so
terrible.
You would need. What's good about the Veyron is that it has most of its modules up high on like the rear haunches. So most of its modules are there, and they were relatively untouched. But you had stuff like the exhaust that was rusted. turbos that need to be rebuilt,
connections that are corroded and shit like that. The stupid
absolutely.
little
So
shit
you
that's
need harnesses, you need modules that went, stuff that was inside the car, things like that. But it's gettable, and also there's enough Volkswagen there that you could reprogram modules and have it work.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's probably similar enough to Audi A8, S8, fancy shit at that time. Probably.
Yeah. It's really
that car at 300K. Are you fixing that and able to sell it at like 1.2, 1.3, or is it then salvage and then it's like 400, 500, 600K?
Well, right now you won't be able to find one for less than. I think they're probably like 1.5 now, just even with the ones with mileage and needs work. Yeah. But I figured
maybe he's looking at it and being like, if I fix this, I can quadruple the money that I put in.
Now he probably can, but I think at the time it wasn't worth that. At the time, I think even like it would have been worth $650 or something, maybe fixed. Put back together and on the road. But now with the crazy market with the hypercars and whatever, that's like. That could be like
it's inflated, just like every other car market. Yeah, it's pretty fucked.
Not that $650,000 isn't actual money, but like for a Veyron, it's like the fastest car in the world.
You'd be able to use the title, "The World's Cheapest Veyron," or "I bought the world's cheapest Veyron."
Exactly, and I think that would be like the mother of all projects, But that's a car that I've always wanted, and I'm still on the look for something, some hypercar that needs work, and there have to be some rappers or something that forgot that they bought this, or like a Chiron that got neglected, or just something.
Just call Andrew Tate. I'm sure
they're out there. Figure something out in Dubai. You just have to go there, find one.
If I get a gold subscription to Hustlers University, I can have first dibs on his Chiron when he crashes it.
Exactly. I think that's a good investment, man. You could turn that $50 into the largest investment in your life.
Oh my God, yeah. So Andrew Tate's another one that's if he's not getting sued like Alex Jones is, he's on the list. Jesus Christ. But his car's nice though. His Chiron, it's pretty nice. But damn, yeah. I just
do you have any other like older, I would say cooler cars?
Andrew Tate.
I don't know anything about his car collection.
I have no idea. I don't know much about Andrew Tate other than the clips that I've seen on debates where he just gets annihilated with like just very, very easy like softball questions.
Yeah, same. I just don't like
Blue McLaren.
People who make content like him who just have to be so like confrontational and aggressive all the time for no reason. Just hyped up 100% of the time. Like
for me, it's not the confrontational bit. It's more about the ideology falls apart pretty quickly. So like the whole red pill stuff, like there are things in there that are probably good. Like, hey, you should, brush your teeth, and like you should, take care of your body and try to be, like a high value individual. You should try to do that. That's just better. That's just general bettering yourself. I think that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I think if you're giving a message to people, especially people that don't have that message in their lives, like, and you're the one that's talking to them, I think that's perfectly fine. I think that's good. The issue that I get is that they lump that into this weird fixation on like your worth is like tied to what women think of you and what other men think about like your net worth and whatever. Well, and it's like
I think oddly enough, I think the world's kind of transformed into that. And I'm not saying me personally, I'm saying like a lot of people have been so like plastic and just idealistic with what you have, not who you are or how intelligent you are, that the world slowly become that, especially as YouTube has grown, especially as social media has grown, and stuff like that. You see everybody's kind of ideology slowly be like, if I have a PJ, then I'm a cool guy, when you could be one of the biggest piece of shits in the world. I said this on a couple shows now, and I think it genuinely makes a lot of sense. The things that Andrew Tate said at the start of his sentences make all of the sense. When he puts in ideology or his opinion or trying to explain how the world works, that is what gets him in trouble.
Yeah,
Him saying, take
yeah.
care of who's in your house and take care of your woman and however she wants to be. Make sure that she doesn't have to go out and fight for her life and take the steps forward that you need to as a person.
Right. Yeah.
Is the right thing.
I think most people would agree with that. And then the issue comes in, like, I really think it's that the whole,
It's
like,
how the other people package it back, and then everybody else hears how they repackage it, and then they spit it out, and all of a sudden
he also packages things very, very poorly. Like
absolutely.
He says he's deliberate with his words, but he said a lot of dumb shit. So
it's telephone over
not
and
to
over.
mention
like
the whole
second grade.
men are better than women.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I mean,
That's just
maybe I don't know if that's been misconstrued. I think there's certain
hilarious
areas where it's like,
it's obviously you have to take it as satire if he's using it as a name, but
yeah. I mean, I don't know if he's talking about, like, you know, men are stronger than women. Generally, that's true. You know, you'll get exceptions where, like, you know, I'm sure that there are women that can absolutely kick my ass, right? But like the lion's share of men can probably take the lion's share of women. But like, and
the
with
quote
that
he gets
comes,
fucked up with that specifically is the whole pilot thing. Oh, I would rather have a male pilot. Okay, so explain why you would rather have a male pilot, Andrew. Actually articulate it and say why you would rather have a male pilot.
Yeah.
Because
just more comfortable.
I wouldn't want a female
fly.
to fly my plane. Okay, why?
Why?
And then he said, you know, in the grand scheme of things, a lot of women are very reactive based off of emotion. So if you're in a high stress situation, they're not going to act appropriately in that situation, and it's going to be more likely to fail.
But you're also in a group in which they are given adequate training.
Absolutely.
So,
that's where I think it falls apart too. Like,
Yeah.
I understand as a human what you're saying, but within pilots, they're all going to be about within like one or two standard deviations of each other. Like, you might get a shitty male or shitty female pilot that just learned yesterday, or you might get a seasoned vet from fucking Vietnam that's able to do whatever the fuck you want them to do.
Well, most likely,
if
you're on a commercial flight, they haven't gotten there yesterday. You know,
exactly.
Like,
exactly. There's no fucking way.
Yeah,
you can't just start flying commercial airliners.
Like, hey guys, I'm a woman, and I just started flying this plane yesterday. So good luck. I have no training in any sort of evasive maneuvers. Like, honestly, I think when if you want to talk about, you know, pilots, I have no problem with female pilots. I actually find that whenever I have a female pilot, it tends to be smoother. Like we have like a smoother flight, and maybe this is my stupid, you know, this is my male brain kind of making sense of things, but it's like maybe they care about the comfort of the passengers a little more. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's all cargo at the end of the day if you fly like 1,000 flights a year.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think I couldn't tell you how many flights were one or the other, and then like I've had several flights which are, you know, just shitty and hard landings, and like, you know, we're banking like we're, you know, about to I don't know,
utilitarian.
like a Superman 64 or something, you know. Yeah,
we're gonna do this as easy as we possibly can, and it might be rough, but you know what, we're gonna get it done a hell of a lot faster.
What's interesting is the if we're talking about pilots, the divide between America and Europe. So in the U.S., they at least the flights that I've flown, if you get into some bad turbulence, they'll put on the fasten seatbelt sign. They'll say, "All right, guys, well, you know, there's a bit of rough air, but it should clear up in the next 15 minutes. We're going to try to climb up to 38,000 feet, see if it's a little better up there. But just we have the fasten seatbelt sign on. Just make sure you stay in your seats. It should be okay in a little bit, but everything's fine. We're making good time. Whatever." They try to reassure you, right? I flew Lufthansa from New York to Frankfurt or something. And we're on a 747, and it had the worst turbulence I've ever experienced. Like, drinks were falling over, all that stuff. The fasten seatbelt sign did not come on once. They didn't say anything. It was and like it was that like on there and back, and it's because Germans just like they assume that turbulence is just something that happens in the sky, and then it's like, what do you want me to do? We're in a plane, like, you know, I don't know what to do. So we're just gonna send it, and
just
then
comforting and reassuring people the whole time over here, and then in Europe they just get it done.
If it gets bumpy, then that's what happens on a plane.
The fucked up thing is, my first flight was on one of those 2-engine planes that go like, 100 miles. So we flew from Albany Airport to fucking Newark in order to get on a 787 or whatever the fuck we were flying out of Newark on. But that thing was so fucking rough. You could hear the motors inside the fucking plane. So all you hear is the entire fucking plane ride. It was fucking
were you on the second story?
No, it was one. It was one level.
Oh, it wasn't a 747. Okay.
No, this was literally a prop plane essentially. To go from Albany to Newark.
Like 20 seats or less kind of thing.
No, probably like, I would assume I was in second grade, so I'm just guessing kind of how I understand the world. I would assume about 50, 60 seats. Okay. It was the smallest commercial flight you possibly could get where it would still be, we're going to use this to go very, very short distances and say, you know what, fuck your money.
Yeah.
I love flying on small planes. They're so fun. Like smaller Cessnas. I've been in a couple different kinds of gliders too. Like, oh man, they're so fun. They just move around so much. It's like being in a roller coaster, but not attached to anything.
The glider is, man, you have to put a lot of trust in that. Oh my goodness.
It's spooky. It's so silent though. It's like,
there's no like
weird.
You are really locked into that glide slope. I mean, if you miss something, like, okay, we're just good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, this shit's absolutely retarded. So we normally end off each episode with one of my fucked up childhood stories that's in the chat on the right. Feel free to choose whatever number you want, Freddie, and I will do my best to entertain you with a fucked up story from my childhood.
Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah, there's 64 on here currently as we record this. I was actually going to edit this and make it longer, but I didn't do it yet.
What about 50.1? My mom being controlling about my relationship.
Okay. So my wife got really, really, really drunk on a New Year's. And our relationship was absolutely dog shit. We were looking at splitting up after my son was born anyway. We were at each other's throats and things were getting violent on and off. And it was just like, you know what? You're drinking, you're throwing up and passing out in front of the kids. I'm taking the kids, I'm leaving. So I moved in with my parents and we split up. This was the first time we split up completely in 4 years at this point. I was 19. Yeah, 19, about that. And we moved in with my parents who had a 2-bedroom, essentially piece of shit fucking apartment. The bottom floor was a sleeper sofa with a 40-inch TV, and that was the only thing that could fit in the living room. Okay. The only thing that could fit in the kitchen was my mom standing in the kitchen to cook. The only thing that was upstairs was a bunk bed and a bed for my parents and a desk. And I'm like, you know what? I'm moving in with you guys because I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore.
Right.
Good.
Move in with them. Shit starts getting better, and me and my wife get back together. So I go up to my mom like, hey, let's get a place together so that way we actually have enough space. We're still young. Let's try and kind of get this shit together. We have 2 kids. You have my 2 sisters. We can get a better place if we're looking together than trying to do this separately. Let's just put things back together and try this again. Let's just take a run at the same fucking thing we did a couple years ago and not fail this time, hopefully. So we found this house in a gated community for fucking cheap. It was a 4-bedroom house for about $1,500 a month. Okay. We're like, we'll cover half the bills, we'll cover half the rent, we'll share and split the house evenly. And slowly my mom's like, I don't feel comfortable with your wife and your stepdad going to the store anymore. They're going there an awful lot. Every time that he drives her to work, they're gone 30, 40 minutes before she has to go to work. And like, that just started like a ticking time bomb of like, the fuck is going on? Just like selling the whole uncomfortability in the entire fucking thing. Like, Mom, you're fucking crazy. Just because she's attractive and the rest of the situation is not, doesn't mean there's something wrong here. Like, just breathe. Like that's your daughter-in-law. Relax. Okay.
Is that when the narrator just steps in and is like, everything was not all right?
No, actually, this was not a Pornhub category where
oh no,
my wife was cheating on me with my stepdad. No,
Yeah.
surprisingly, that didn't happen.
Okay.
But that slowly just started eating away at my
Fucking
fucking
relax
ear.
now.
And it
Fuck.
just was poking each other back and forth of like being frustrated. Like, why the fuck are you saying this? Like, you're making me fucking paranoid about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we ended up moving out. We ended up getting our own apartment again after like 6-7 months. We broke a lease for a $1,500 house with fucking free pools and lakes and everything else to go live in a piece of shit fucking mold-filled apartment because that was better.
Mm-hmm.
Went to buy a house probably about 6 months after we left. And I found my parents used all of my fucking credit score while I was under 18 for about $7,000.
Jesus Christ.
So I just fucking lost it. I was like, for 6-7 months, you told me that I was making the wrong fucking decisions. That your husband was fucking my wife, and we had a big fucking problem to handle. Now, I understand you were very, very uncomfortable in your marriage, but I'm not fucking okay with this. You fucked me over way too many
That's
fucking
so
times.
crazy. That is actually oh man.
And then
that was an ongoing thing from like start to finish, basically, of the time you lived with them there.
Yep, that was over 7
That's
months.
fucked.
And then it progressed to the point where they ended up homeless after living